Now that the NBA offseason is officially underway with the draft being over, a lot of trades are going to happen, and the most recent blockbuster trade was LaMelo Ball being traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. With LaMelo Ball playing the most games since the 2021-2022 season, LaMelo Ball's stock has never been higher. After a season where LaMelo Ball also averaged 20 points with 7 assists on his lowest turnover rate, he had an extremely effective year, and the second half of the season for the Hornets looked like they were turning the corner to become a playoff team. With the Hornets trading away LaMelo Ball and Josh Green, it's important to look at what Charlotte got back in this trade. They got Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first-round pick, and then pick swaps in 2028, 2029, and 2030 with second-round swap picks in 2029, 2032, and 2033. So it's a massive haul for LaMelo Ball. Ball has 3 years left on his contract, meaning that the Timberwolves are going to get a minimum of 3 seasons out of him, unless it's a weird situation where he gets traded again, which is highly unlikely. Obviously, the Timberwolves already have a superstar in Anthony Edwards, so the obvious question is, how do these two players fit alongside each other? On offense, the Timberwolves are an offensive juggernaut, but there's a lot of questions now that have to be answered in Minnesota. The biggest question that needs addressing is the defense for this team. Obviously, they have an elite rim protector in Rudy Gobert, but trading away Naz Reid doesn't affect the defense as much, but there's not a lot of depth on this team to make up for the lack of defense that LaMelo Ball is bringing to this team. With Dante DiVincenzo missing probably all of next season, this does help the Timberwolves with their ball handling duty, where Mike Conley is a fine player, but he's far beyond his prime, and the point guard has really been a big question for the Timberwolves the last few seasons. During the week of the draft, the Timberwolves also moved on from Julius Randle, so they have to make up that offense somehow, and LaMelo Ball certainly does that. When looking at Anthony Edwards' shot chart, you see obviously he gets to the rim a lot and he shoots a lot of threes, but he is pretty good at the mid-range level. He just doesn't shoot a high volume of them. Most of his shots are coming at the rim or from the wing threes. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, as we know that Anthony Edwards is one of the best three-point shooters in the entire NBA. Now adding LaMelo Ball, that's even more three-point volume shooting. With LaMelo Ball's shot chart, you can see it's even more three-point shooting and not a lot of mid-range. And my biggest concern with this is, does this get too predictable for the defense? I couldn't help but to think when I heard the trade was, is this going to be a Phoenix Suns situation where you have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, and the shot diet just isn't going to be diverse enough? As someone who believes in the eye test and the data and the analytics, this could easily work, and we could see a situation where it's like, wow, the Timberwolves are making all these threes, how can a team keep up offensively? When we look at these advanced stats, we see that LaMelo Ball is an exceptional talent, and he knows how to score, he knows how to get his teammates involved, and I think there is a misconception that sometimes he plays too nonchalant. I know he cares, and a lot of his defense, even though on ball he is not a good defender, is he does play the passing lanes pretty well, and I think the Timberwolves can get away with playing him off the ball handler and getting those lane steals. Now, when we look at Anthony Edwards' advanced stats, we know he's an exceptional scorer, and he's a serviceable ball handler, and he can play make and assist his teammates, but he's an extremely hustle-driven player, and he works well with pretty much any teammate that you give him. You see how he's made it work with Julius Randle. You see how he's made it work with Rudy Gobert, and he just wants to win. I think it's really important to acknowledge that when we looked at these advanced stats, we see that LaMelo Ball is great in the ball handling and Anthony Edwards is good. And this really does help with the point guard position now for the Timberwolves. This is going to take a lot of pressure off of Anthony Edwards for him having to run point guard and allows him to play off ball and get open more. When we take a more deep dive look at these advanced analytics, we see that LaMelo Ball makes up for a lot of the deficiencies that Anthony Edwards has and vice versa. A really good example of this is look at the transition play. You see Anthony Edwards plays at 14% of the time in transition and finishes extremely well with a 9.2% finishing rate, where LaMelo Ball plays in transition only 11% of the time and does not finish well in transition with actually a negative 2.2% finish rate. But this is a really good sign for the Minnesota Timberwolves where they can make up for each other's flaws, and this balances out the team a little bit more. When we look at the projected starting lineup of the Timberwolves, we see LaMelo Ball at point guard, Anthony Edwards at the shooting guard, with Dosunmu and Jaden McDaniels making up those wing positions, and Rudy Gobert as your center. Now, you can see I didn't fill in the bench players, and I did that purposefully. And the reason I did that was because I do not know what the Timberwolves bench is going to look like. Losing Naz Reid, a Sixth Man of the Year player, you're going to have to make that up somehow. And with no Dante DiVincenzo, I am concerned to see where is this bench depth going to go for the Timberwolves, and are they going to get that production that you need later in the season, especially in the playoffs? With that being said, I'm excited to see how this team turns out, and I'm excited to watch these two players play together. It's definitely going to give us some highlights for this season, and it's going to be exciting. I just have questions about how effective it actually will be. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.